Hi, everybody. I am Mark Raven from KaiNexus, and today we're doing a quick preview of our upcoming webinar. It's going to be held April 4th, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. It's going to be presented by Katie Anderson. She's joining us today to give us a quick preview of her webinar that's titled, How to Create a Continuous Improvement Culture by Closing the Gaps. And that's in all capitals, G.A.P.S, an acronym. You can tune into the webinar to find out what that stands for and what's behind it. So to register for the webinar, go to kainexus.com/webinar. So Katie, thank you for doing another webinar. Thanks for doing the preview. How are you?
I'm great. And I'm really looking forward to talking about closing the gaps and about continuous improvement as well.
And then I think, this is a nice follow-up to, 2 years ago, the webinar about your book, Learning to Lead, Leading to Learn.
Nice work. You did that right.
It's holding up. I did not stumble. It's not the book's fault or it's my fault. I know it, but I stumble over it. We all make mistakes. So it goes. But Katie, let me ask you, I think a lot of people listening or watching, hopefully are familiar with you and your work. But if not, tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Mark. It's always great collaborating. And, we've known each other for probably about almost 15 years now.
Yeah.
We were both working in healthcare and hospital systems. I am a learning enthusiast who is passionate about creating cultures of continuous learning and continuous improvement. Starting off in healthcare systems and environments where I was really got passionate about the concepts of Kaizen and how do we make work better by engaging all the people at all levels. And for the last almost 10 years now, I've had my own consulting practice where I work with companies of all different sizes around the world to really embed the leadership practices as habits to create those cultures that support continuous improvement in learning in their environments. So that's a little bit about me. And then the relationship to my book, Learning to Lead, Leading to Learn, is I had the incredible opportunity to live in Japan for 2 years and befriended Toyota leader Isao Yoshino and worked with him as well. So we can talk more about that in some of the Q&As in the webinar as well.
Yeah. And so speaking of Katie's book, and I'll put a link in the show notes. I mean, you learn more about Katie and all the things she does, including leading Japan tours at her website, kbjanderson.com. I'm going to throw this out there. It is a goal. I do want to go with you in 2024.
You will. We'll make it happen. Yes. Both of my trips are amazingly sold out for this year. Yeah. So I'm looking at setting some dates for 2024. And so if people are interested in joining Mark to join me in Japan, definitely reach out to learn more.
Yeah. But again, speaking of the book, Learning to Lead, Leading to Learn, we've started doing some book giveaway contests related to the webinars. And so there's going to be an opportunity. You can enter to win one of 3 signed copies from Katie via KaiNexus. And the way to enter that contest is to simply share about the webinar on LinkedIn and use the hashtag KaiNexus. We'll put a little bit more about that in the show notes where I can do that. So, Katie, for this webinar, and I'm excited because as you were telling me, this it's a new presentation. I mean, I think it sounds like it's based on ideas that you know and have taught for a long time. But tell us, give us kind of the framing of this webinar and why people should tune in.
So, yeah, thanks, Mark. I've been reflecting a lot on the leadership learning programs and discussions I've had with a lot of my clients over the last year. And it's consistently been around how are we creating these cultures of continuous improvement? How are we solving more problems? How are we closing the gaps between where we are today and where we need to be? But really looking at it from a process and operational side, and then what leadership behaviors do we need to have? And I've been consistently talking with these leadership groups about 4 key behaviors that will drive this culture of continuous improvement. And I was playing around with actually what they might be called, and it comes to spell the word G.A.P.S. And so to close the gaps in process, we also have to close the gaps in our behavior and actions as well.
And so that's going to help us. I am too. And that's going to help, as the title suggests, create a continuous improvement culture.
Right. So it's both about how do we close gaps from a behavior standpoint, and then how do those behaviors drive us being able to close the gaps from process as well. Yeah.
And, former Toyota people, they use the word gap a lot. You hear the word problem a lot. And related to it, you hear the word gap of closing gaps, measurable gaps, creating a gap to help create tension, to drive improvement. So we have the word, and we'll learn in the webinar the acronym.
Absolutely. I'm excited. So come and join us live and learn what the leadership gaps are that you might want to be focused on closing.
Yeah, so I hope you will come attend live. You'll have a chance to ask questions. We'll have a good, robust Q&A session at the end. In fact, 2 years ago, we had so many questions. Katie and I recorded like an additional bonus Q&A. So we might have the opportunity to do that again this time. But if you'd like to register for the webinar, go to kinexus.com/webinars. You can look for a link in the show notes. If you are watching or listening to this after April 4th, you can go find the recording of the webinar through that same web page. You can find it in this podcast feed or YouTube channel, depending on how you are taking this in. So April 4th, 1 o'clock, Katie Anderson. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks in advance.
Me too. I'm looking forward to it, Mark, and bring your questions, everyone, and looking forward to the discussion.
Yeah. If there are gaps in knowledge, you answering their questions will help close those gaps.
And indeed, and perhaps there'll be gaps in what I know, and that the best answer sometimes is, I don't know. But yes, we're going to work on closing those gaps.
That's a good trait, being able to say, I don't know, and I is not one of the letters in gaps.
No. I mean, there's so many behaviors, but we got down to 4. We're going to focus on 4 key behaviors.
Well, Katie, thanks again in advance. Thanks in advance for the webinar. Thanks for doing the preview here today.
Thanks, Mark. Looking forward to it.
Thanks.